Gentlemen, welcome back to MGTOW Money. Today's topic, going broke on $1 million a year. The reason for today's topic, it comes from a link to an article. See the video description to an article that is on Seeking Alpha regarding a gentleman, and I'll go into the details in just a second, who is quote unquote, according to this article, going broke on $1 million a year. Now, some of the details from this article are he is a very successful attorney, evidently in the Washington, D.C. area. And by the way, this is relevant. The Washington, D.C. area is an extremely expensive part of the United States. Furthermore, this gentleman has 3 children. He's married, again, makes about $1 million a year, and as best I can tell, it is in his late 50s and has been consistently earning significant quantities of money. Before I go into this more so, let me sincerely thank the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel. Men, thank you. Thank you, those men who are supporting this channel via Patreon, and thank you to those men who bought me a cup of coffee via PayPal on the last video. Men, I urge you, see the video description today, become a Patreon investor in this channel. Despite Google, YouTube, this channel is going to continue as best it can. Yes, they of course decided to demonetize my Asia Argento video a couple of videos ago. So again, see the video description today, become a Patreon supporter. All right, back to this gentleman. This man, in my opinion, who obviously by any measure is very successful, at least financially. Men, this person is a anti-role model. I said an anti-role model. See, I did a video 4 or 5 videos ago where I was talking about the importance of having role models in your life. By the way, see the video description. I'll include a link to that video as well about the importance of having positive role models. This person, though, is doing things that you men should not be doing, in my opinion. In other words, you want to avoid this person's lifestyle. If he's going to the right, you want to go to the left. If he's going up the ladder, you want to go down the ladder. Whatever he's doing, bottom line, you want to do the opposite. So let me get into some questions that I think about this man. Do you think this man has a simple or complicated life? So remember, details, he's married, he works probably, I'm guessing, at least 70 plus hours a week, so a good 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. He has a quote-unquote $1 million mortgage. Actually, it's $1.2 million on his $2 million home. And oh, by the way, he's paying about $100,000 a year. In other words, about $8,000, $8,500 a month between mortgage, interest, taxes, insurance, just on his property alone. Furthermore, remember, this is relevant. He's in his late 50s. He's got 3 kids. And oh, by the way, I didn't add in, the 3 kids are going to, of course, expensive private schools, and those schools are running approximately $140,000 a year. So again, you've got approximately another $12,000 a month going out in school fees. Now, again, I ask you, does this sound like a simple or complicated life? And imagine, if you would, men, if he was a single man, no kids, and he owned his residence free and clear. In other words, he had no mortgage. How would his life be different? You arrive at your own conclusions. All right, 2. What is his money neighborhood like? In other words, what I'm describing, his economic environment that he's living in. Again, as I mentioned, he's got a $2 million home, so I can only imagine it's in a very beautiful neighborhood, probably a gated community, etc. And I'm sure frequently crosses paths with many highly educated, well-established professionals like himself. However, I further ask you, what sort of social pressures do you think he's under? What I mean is, what types of things do you think he's seeing and encountering and hearing about every day? In other words, again, when he's looking at around his neighborhood, he's probably seeing lots of brand new high-end automobiles, for example. He's probably seeing lots of course, home renovation going on. His wife, of course, is talking to many of the other women in the neighborhood, and they're talking about, oh yeah, we were just in the south of France at our chateau over there, etc., for the past 60 days and how wonderful it was, etc. Or, oh, you need to come over and check out our new huge wine cellar, and it's got this wonderful Bordeaux from 1857, etc. So again, What if, though, he decided to change his money neighborhood? Again, his economic environment as I'm defining it. What if he downsized, or maybe I should say right-sized his residence into something more like a $500,000, $750,000 home? I don't think that'd be a shack, even in the Washington, D.C. area. So again, something maybe not as palatial, but certainly something nice and something reasonable. And maybe, God forbid, put his children into public schools. Again, high-quality public schools probably in some parts of the Washington, D.C. area. The point is, what if he changed his economic environment, his money neighborhood? You draw your own conclusion. Next question, and this was the big one to me. This is the one that I find most puzzling. Why is he choosing to pay, and I emphasize that, why is he choosing to pay over 50% of his gross income in federal, state, and county taxes? So again, you're making approximately $1 million a year. Right off the top, you're losing approximately $500,000 and you're effectively getting nothing from it. In other words, you're paying about $500,000 a year just in taxes. How much could he save by moving to a lower tax area, a lower tax state, or ideally even, of course, a zero income tax locale? And although this is unknowable, this was just something I was thinking about, I wonder if he is truly taking full advantage of all the tax breaks available to him. I'm not talking about the IRA, 401k type stuff. I'm thinking in terms of deferred compensation, deferred annuities, etc. There's many different things that high net worth individuals can take advantage of. Is he doing so? Men, just because you're smart in one area doesn't mean you're smart in every area. And there's lots of people who might be great brain surgeons, but are terrible with money, for example. So again, I'm just wondering about that. Now, here's where it comes to you men. Listen very carefully, and I hope you'll take this away as some homework, just like in the old days, in the earliest videos. Here's some questions that you need to consider. Is your life simple or complex? Very easy question right off the bat. Is it simple or complex? You know intuitively. Regardless of the answer, how can you simplify your life today? What specific actions can you do today to remove, to eliminate something, to simplify it, to make it easier, to allow you to focus more? Can you avoid certain people? Can you throw some stuff out? Can you clean up your place a little bit? Next, what is your money neighborhood like? What is your economic area that you're living in like? Again, do you feel some sort of pressure to buy stuff because everyone around you is? I mean, again, I'm not talking about overt pressure where people are gossiping about you or saying, hey, why are you driving that, blah, blah, blah. Again, subtle subconscious cues work on all of us. It's sort of get with the program, man. Join the bandwagon. You may not even know that it's happening, but it does happen again on all of us. You need to spend money on X because you'll be happy just like us. Let me give you a brief real-world example. I remember when I moved to a new apartment years ago into a southeastern city, one of my many moves that I made. This is a relatively high-end apartment that I moved to. It was a quote-unquote corporate apartment. The company was putting me up in this apartment for a temporary stay. But anyway, here I am driving this old junker of a car, and all the cars around me, guess what? Were new and luxurious and that type of thing. And you know how I felt? I felt bad. I felt, man, I'm out of place here. This feels weird. I don't feel very good about this at all. And to be frank with you, I was glad to move. If nothing else, I didn't feel like I had this old junker car parked next to all these Mercedes and Porsches, etc. Furthermore, men, this also applies to the social media world. I've emphasized this many times. All this showing off on social media, showing off the latest stuff that people have bought, trying to generate likes. Did you ever wonder why people are doing that? Why are they so desperate for approval, for some sort of dopamine hit of congratulations, awesome, fantastic, beautiful, wow, you're doing great. But what happens though, men, when the likes fade away? What happens when they're no longer coming? Oh, that's right. You got to buy more. You better go buy something else to start the whole thing all over again. Last question. This is just as important as any other. What are you doing to reduce your biggest expense? What am I talking about your biggest expense? See the slide I include? I'm talking about the amount of money that you pay in taxes. The amount of money that most people pay in taxes is exceeding what they're paying in housing, transportation, and food. I'm talking about by percentage. Again, what actions can you do to reduce your taxes? I've done many videos about this where I've talked about moving to a no tax state, working outside the United States for a while, maxing out your various retirement plan options. There are ways that you can reduce your biggest monthly expense if you will take action. Let me finish by saying, men, learning from other people's mistakes is very valuable and can make you a lot of money. Just think about your broke friends, think about this broke millionaire, and do the opposite. I hope you found this useful. As always, John Galt out.